U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken begin his official visit to China.
Collecting tolls for using state-owned highways.
Miracle, baby delivered alive from dying mother's womb in Gaza.
Hello everyone, you are watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Thành. Let's get started. On April 24th, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken began a three-day visit to China. This is the first visit to China by U.S. Secretary of State since June last year.
During the visit, Secretary of State Antony Blinken will meet with senior Chinese officials in Shanghai and Beijing to discuss a number of bilateral, regional and global issues including the crisis in the Middle East and the conflict in Ukraine. The U.S. Secretary of State will also discuss efforts to implement the commitments made by President Joe Biden and President Xi Jinping at the summit in the U.S. late last year. Commitments between the leaders of the two countries related to resuming anti-drug cooperation, communication between the two countries' militaries and artificial intelligence. During the U.S. Secretary of State's visit, China will focus on enhancing understanding and dialogue, promoting mutually beneficial cooperation as well as shared common responsibilities.
In a TV speech marking 200 days since the war between Israel and Hamas started in October 2023, Minister Abu Obaida, the spokesperson of Hamas armed wing, called for more action on all fronts.
According to the Times of Israel, Mr. Abu Obaida recalled Iran's attack on Israel on April 13th and said that the attack set new rules. He also called for an escalation in the West Bank and Jordan, which he called one of the most important Arab fronts. Regarding negotiations, he affirmed that Hamas was sticking to its demands at the ongoing ceasefire talks, that Israel end its military offensive, pull out forces from Gaza, allow displaced Palestinians to return to northern Gaza and lift the military blockade. For its part, Israel said Hamas's request to end the war was unfeasible.
According to information from the Vietnam Highway Administration, Ministry of Transport, the National Assembly has agreed with the policy of collecting tolls on highways invested by the state.
Resolutions of the National Assembly have requested the government to develop regulations on highway use fees. Specifically, the toll will be carefully calculated, ensuring it is appropriate on each route, because if the toll is too high, vehicles will not use the expressway, causing congestion on the parallel national highway. The Ministry of Transport believes that toll collection for state-funded expressways will increase budget revenue by mobilizing resources from users, creating the valuable funding source to invest in the road system. If nothing changes, all state-invested highways will be tolled in 2024.
Coming up next are some updated news. The grade 12 student can try to register for the high school graduation exam from April 24th until April 28th. The Ministry of Education and Training said that the account used to log into the system is provided to candidates by the department and high schools. And then candidates trying to register for 2024 high school graduation exam at thí sinh.thitotnghieptrunghophphổ thông.edu.vn. After logging in, candidates should change their password for security and fill in the required information displayed on the screen. After 5 days of registering for practice, the system will delete all candidates' test registrations forms to prepare for official registration from May 2nd to 5:17 p.m. on May 10. The International Institute for Development and Management, in collaboration with the World's Most Sustainable Cities Organization, has announced the ranking of the world's leading smart cities in 2024. Accordingly, Vietnam has 2 cities, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, appearing in the rankings, of which Hanoi ranked 97th position, up 3 levels compared to 2023, and Ho Chi Minh City ranked 105th position. Researchers analyzed data and surveyed 120 residents in each of 142 cities. around the world, thereby providing an assessment of how a city infrastructure and technology impacted overall efficiencies and quality of life of the people.
The People's Committee of Gay and Province has just issued an official dispatch on ensuring traffic order and safety to serve the travel needs of the people during public holiday of April 30th and May 1st and the summer tourist peak of 2024. Accordingly, the provincial chairman asked the Department of Transport to direct transport business units to develop transport plans to meet people's travel needs and ensure traffic safety. Upgrade and repair key traffic routes and important traffic hubs. Review and supplement the signaling system to create convenience for traffic participants. Direct police units and localities to strengthen patrols and strictly handle violations of traffic order and safety.
Amid the intense violence of the Israel-Hamas war, which has been devastating Gaza for the past 6 months, a baby was miraculously born alive after the mother, a Palestinian woman, was killed in an attack in the city of Rafah.
According to doctors, the baby was delivered prematurely while her mother was 7 months pregnant by a caesarean section. The baby's mother, identified as Sabrine al-Sarkani, reached the Kuwaiti hospital's emergency unit in a critical condition after she was fatally wounded in the head and abdomen. While examining the mother, the doctors realized she was pregnant. Despite lack of anesthetics, they decided to ahead with a C-section.
Between intermediate and critical.
It's a miracle that she was still alive, despite her difficulties in breathing. The mother died 10 minutes after the surgery.
After birth, the baby was quickly put in an incubator and on oxygen and was treated with antibiotics. The newborn was then transferred to the pediatrics unit of the Emirati hospital in Rafah. According to the hospital officials, the baby's father and sister were also brought to the hospital, but they were declared dead on arrival. Due to this, the baby's uncle will be the caretaker after her release from the hospital.
Every day, I go to the hospital to check on my brother's daughter who was rescued from her mother's womb. I named her Sabrine al-Ru because her father wanted to name her Ru.
Several local media said the baby weighed less than 2 kilograms and her mother had been in her 7th month of pregnancy when she was born.
This is the end of the show today. Thank you for watching.